Hello and welcome back to Engineers Olympiad, where learning meets success. We are doing the questions of the first chapter, Introduction and Basic Concepts of Surveying. We are doing all those questions which over the years have been asked in IES examination. So let's begin. This question was asked in IES 2018, and this question is assertion reason type, wherein the assertion is the fundamental principle of surveying is to work from whole to part, and the reason is working from whole to part ensures prevention of accumulation of errors in survey work or large areas. All right. So this is a question as asked in IES 2018. So our assertion, the fundamental principle of surveying is to work from whole to part, is correct, because this is indeed the principle of survey, that we have to always work from whole to part, not from part to whole. And our reason that working from whole to part ensures prevention of accumulation of errors in survey over large areas is also correct. Yes, indeed, we use this principle to prevent accumulation of errors and to compensate errors in a way. So our assertion is correct, our reason is correct, true, and our reason is the correct explanation of our assertion. All right, students, that the fundamental principle of working from whole to part is to prevent accumulation of errors in survey over large areas. So yes, the answer will be option A, wherein my assertion is true, my reason is true, and my reason is the correct explanation of my assertion. All right. So this was the question as asked in IES 2018. Let's move on and do another question. All right. Next question is, it was asked in IES 2019. And the question is reconnaissance survey. Reconnaissance survey for determining feasibility and estimation of scheme reconnaissance survey for determining feasibility and estimation of scheme falls under the classification based on falls under the classification based on option A was nature of the field of survey, nature of field of survey. Option B, object of surveying. Option C, instruments used. Or option D, method employed. All right. So this was the question asked in IES 2019, and the question is reconnaissance survey for determining feasibility and estimation of scheme falls under the classification based on nature of field of survey, object of surveying, instruments used, or the method employed. If you recall the discussions as If you recall the discussions as held in the previous video lectures, wherein I told you that there are many classifications of surveying based on, first there is the primary division of surveying, in which there is plain surveying and geodetic surveying. Then there are functional classifications of surveying. Then there are classification based of instruments used, etc. So our reconnaissance survey, it's done to have general idea of the area to be surveyed and the surveying methods to be employed, right? So this is done for some purpose, right? During reconnaissance survey, a surveyor should first of all thoroughly examine the ground to ascertain as how the work can be arranged in the best possible manner. This is the reconnaissance survey and it falls under the classification based on purpose or object of surveying. So option B is the correct answer, right? Reconnaissance survey falls under the classification based on object of surveying, not on nature of field of survey, no, not on instrument use, no, not on the method employed, no. All right. So this was the question as asked in IES 2019. Let's move on. All right. Next question, it was asked in IES 2020. And the question is assertion reason type. My assertion is geodetic survey cannot be done for works requiring high precision. Geodetic surveying can not be done for works requiring high precision. Right? And the reason was, as given in the paper, reason is the curvature of earth is accounted for measurements in geodetic survey. The curvature of earth is accounted for the curvature of earth is accounted for measurements in geodetic survey. For measurements in geodetic survey. All right. So this was the question as asked in IES 2020. And this is an assertion reason question wherein my assertion was geodetic survey cannot be done for works requiring high precision. And the reason given was the curvature of earth is accounted for measurements in geodetic survey, right? So assertion, geodetic survey cannot be done for works requiring high precision. It's false. We do geodetic survey for works requiring high precision, right? Reason, the curvature of earth is accounted for measurements in geodetic survey. True. We do take curvature of earth into account for all works involving geodetic survey, and this geodetic survey is usually done for areas larger than 250 kilometers square or so, and plane survey is limited to lesser areas than that. And in plane survey we do not take curvature of earth into account, but in geodetic survey we take curvature of earth into account, right, for all the measurements. So what would be the answer? The answer is D. My assertion is false, but my reason is true. So option D, assertion false, reason correct. So option D is the correct answer. All right, let's move on. All right. This question was asked in IES 2021. All right. 2021. Question is, consider the following statements related to the classification based on the object of survey. Consider the following statements regarding classification based on object of survey. All right. What was the first statement? The first statement was archaeological surveys for unearthing relics of antiquity. Archaeological surveys for unearthing relics of antiquity. Statement number second. Geological surveys for determining different strata in Earth's crust. Different strata in Earth's crust. Statement number three. Mine surveys for exploring mineral wealth such as gold, coal, etc. Mine surveys, sorry. Mine surveys for exploring mineral wealth such as gold, coal, etc. All right. Which of the above statements are correct? All right. So this was the question as asked in IAS 2021. Consider the following statements regarding classification based on object of surveying, archaeological surveys for unearthing relics of antiquity, geological survey for determining different strata in Earth's crust, and mine surveys for exploring mineral wealth such as gold, coal, etc. Which of the statement is correct? All the three statements are correct. We use archaeological surveys for unearthing relics of antiquity. Geological surveys are conducted for determining different strata in Earth's crust. And mine surveys we do for exploring mineral wealth such as gold, coal, etc. So all the three statements are correct, right? This was the question as asked in IES 2021. Moving on. This question was asked in IES 2022. And the question was, which one of the following is used for determining different strata in Earth's crust? Which of the following is used for determining different strata in Earth's crust? This was the question asked in IES 2022. Option A was mine survey. Option B, topographic survey. Option C, archaeological survey. Or option D, Geological survey. All right. So this was the question. So which survey is used for determining different strata in Earth's crust? It is geological survey, right? The survey which we use for determination of different strata in Earth's crust is geological survey, not archaeological survey, not topographic survey, and not mine survey. Geological survey is a survey which is used for determining different strata in the Earth's crust. So this was the question as asked in IES 2022. Moving on. Next one. This question was asked in IES 2023. And the question is, the planning surveys about engineering studies consists of the planning surveys about engineering studies consists of option A, income per capita, option B, living standard, option C, traffic volume, or option D, road location and alignment studies. Road location and alignment studies. All right. This was the question as asked in IES 2023. And the question is, the planning surveys about engineering studies consists of income per capita, living standard, traffic volume, road location and alignment studies. Which is the correct answer? The correct answer is option D, road location and alignment studies. The planning surveys, these include various studies like, I may write it here. These planning surveys, they require many studies like economic studies, all right? Economic studies, financial studies, traffic studies, and engineering studies. All right, students? Planning surveys include these studies: economic studies, financial studies, traffic studies, and engineering studies. But the question asks us, the planning surveys about engineering studies consists of. And our engineering studies, this consists of various other things, right? I may write it down over here. Engineering studies, they consist of various things like alignment of roads, topographical surveys, soil survey, road location, and drainage studies. All right. So the correct answer is road location and alignment studies. All right, students, planning surveys include various studies like economic studies, financial studies, traffic studies, and engineering studies. And this engineering studies, in turn, they consist of various studies like alignment of roads, topographical survey, soil survey, road location, and drainage studies. So, the planning surveys about engineering studies consists of not this, not this, not this one, road location and alignment studies. All right. So this was the question as asked in IAS 2023, and the students must note that the planning surveys consists of economic studies, financial studies, traffic studies, and engineering studies, which in turn engineering studies consists of these things. All right. So this was the question as asked in IAS 2023. Moving on, let's do the next one. All right, this was the question as asked in IAS 2023 in the same year. And the question is, which one of the following consists of which one of the following consists of horizontal and vertical location of certain points by linear and angular measurements by linear and angular measurements and is made to determine the natural features of a country. Natural features of a country. Option A was cadastral survey. Option B, topographical survey. Option C, astronomical survey. Or option D, military survey. All right. This was the question asked in IAS 2023. And the question is, which one of the following consists of horizontal and vertical location of certain points by linear and angular measurements and is used to determine natural features of a country? We use cadastral survey to determine legal boundaries of land, military survey to study about points of strategic importance, astronomical survey to determine latitude, longitude, meridian, azimuth, etc. And topographical survey is used to determine natural features of a country. So the answer is topographical survey. And I told you in the video lecture about the theory part of the same chapter, Introduction and Basic Concepts of Surveying, that topographical survey is used to prepare topographic maps of an area that is surveyed. And topographic maps, in addition to the depicting natural features of a country, they all also show what? elevations of a terrain, right? So they show elevations of a terrain, which means both linear and angular measurements are taken to prepare topographic maps or topo sheets. All right. So this was the question as asked in IAS 2023. With this, we completed the objective part, and let's see in subjective or the conventional part what question was asked from this chapter. This is from the conventional paper, and the question asked was explain the following terms in the context of surveying. Explain the following terms in context of surveying. First one, lease count. And second one, whole to part. All right. This was the question in the conventional paper. And the question was explain the following terms in context of surveying, lease count and whole to part. So let's take the first one. Least count. What is least count? Least count is the smallest value that can be measured by the measuring instrument. The smallest value that can be measured by an instrument is known as its least count. All right, students. So the least count is the smallest value that can be measured by the measuring instrument. And the least count of the vernier is equal to the difference in length of one division of the main scale and one division of the vernier scale. Least count of a vernier is equal to difference in one division of main scale division minus one vernier scale division. The difference between two is least count of the vernier, also written as S by N, where S is the smallest division on the main scale, which you may call as the least count of the main scale, and N number of divisions of vernier. All right. Least count is S by N, or it's equal to the difference in length of one division of the main scale and one division of the vernier scale. The least count of the vernier is also equal to the value of the smallest division on the main scale divided by total number of divisions on the vernier. All right. This was the first one. Let's take the second one, whole to part. All right. Whole to part. It is the first principle of surveying, and the main idea of working from whole to part is to localize the error. It is the first principle of surveying, or the fundamental principle of surveying, and its idea is to what? To localize the error and to control the accumulation of errors. To localize the error and to prevent accumulation of errors. All right, students. The survey area is covered with the simplest possible framework of high quality measurements, and the rest of the survey work is carried out within that area, and the possible accumulation of errors can be contained by using this fundamental principle of surveying, that is, we should always work from whole to part. And if we work in the reverse order, if we work from part to whole, the errors will accumulate and they will expand to a greater magnitude in the process of expansion of survey. All right. So this was the question. As asked in the conventional paper of IAS examination, we had to explain these terms in context of survey. All right, with this we conclude